Hi, I'm Russ Capper, and this is Business Makers USA, brought to you by Insperity, inspiring business performance. Coming to you today from Atlas Workbase in downtown Seattle, where my guest is Bill Sector, founder and CEO of Atlas Workbase. Bill, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Russ.
You bet, and thank you for having us here.
Pleasure.
This is a fantastic facility to conduct interviews, so I'm delighted to be able to talk to you now. In fact, let's start right at top. Tell us about Atlas Workbase.
Well, Atlas Workbase is really the marriage between co-working, where it's evolved, and Third Place. Our mission is really to provide flexible, intentionally designed workspaces that allow our members to create and conduct business successfully.
Okay, and I would like to hear your description of how you differentiate yourself from these other workspaces that have popped up everywhere.
Well, as you can have heard and seen in the marketplace, there's been a whole evolution of workspace, from the traditional office to the shared office space,
right.
Where still you can share amenities and whatever, but you're still signing a long-term lease to lease that space, and you're really kind of grounded into that one location. And that's evolved with the whole evolution of co-working, right. Which came from the evolution of technology. Right. Technology has enabled us to be more of a mobile workforce. And the folks that really have fueled co-working have been the people that have created the technology. So the initial audience for those spaces have really been focused on the technology sector. So what we've done is we've taken co-working where it's evolved, where it's that month-to-month, all-inclusive, amenities included type of model, and married that with Third Place. Are you familiar with Third Place?
Yes, I am.
So Third Place is that home work and that other place
right.
that you actually conduct business.
Which a lot of people refer to Starbucks as being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So think of us as a co-working space married to a Starbucks, and then we've taken it a step further and elevated the scale of how we present the brand and added services on top of that, and made it even more flexible than the standard co-working space.
Well, the flexibility is something I noticed right up front too. I mean, it's sort of like you offer an a la carte assessment of services here.
Yeah, so basically, in a traditional office, you pick your office. In a traditional co-working space, you'll still pick your office
right.
and have some access to other amenities and spaces to be more fluid.
Right.
Here at Atlas, the first thing that you do is you pick your type of space that you would like to work with. We offer a lounge, we offer a tabletop, a flexible desk type of thing, and a fluid, what we call workbases, and I can talk to that a little bit later. That's our product base. And then you marry that against the time you're going to actually use the space. So we provide full-time, half-time, quarter-time programs, both monthly and daily. So it allows our members to basically, in essence, pay for what they're using, for how long they're using it.
So obviously, along the way, this idea gelled in you and your partners' minds on how to do this. Take us back there. What motivated it?
My background has all been sales and business development, and I've primarily worked independently out of my home and have represented the companies that I've worked for both in my city and globally. So pretty much always had to work in different spaces that were not the central office, if
right.
you will. So that all evolved about 2010. I kind of stopped. I was in and out of Fortune 500s to startups, and I went and got my MBA. And from that experience, I determined I wanted to do something on my own and be very entrepreneurial.
Okay.
And part of that experience is really tying yourself to something that you believe in and that you love doing. Well, I love to travel. I've booked over close to 10 million miles on various airlines
wow.
all over the world. And that pretty much influenced a little bit of like what you see here at Atlas, because a lot of this space here is what you would see in a first-class business lounge in an airport. You'd see it in hotels. You'll see it in really nice offices. You'll see it in coffee shops. All these different things are all kind of married into here. So the opportunity, I met my business partner, who's a real estate developer, had this space, wanted to look at creative workspace. We're right across the street from the Gates Foundation and the Seattle Center, which is a great central area within Seattle, and there was a prime location for some sort of flexible workspace. Mm-hmm. So I kind of looked at the market and where it was at, saw that there was, this this new evolution in co-working, a unicorn in the market that was doing really well. So, well, how can we do something a little bit different and cater to a more of a wider audience than just the traditional technical person that's bro coding.
Right.
The typical bro coder is the common phrase that's used.
Right. Well, they seem to intentionally just sort of attract people that are technologists.
Well, again, that's the evolution of co-working.
Right.
I mean, back when the internet was just coming on board, and that's kind of my background. I've worked with U.S. Robotics that put the modems in computers. I worked with the Palm Pilot, which put it in our hands.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of lived through this whole evolution of making us more mobile and able to work outside of an office. We're no longer needed to be tethered to a desk.
Right.
You know, as long as you have a great wireless connection that's secure, and you have the technology to support that and the hardware, you can really conduct business anywhere. And that's what we're trying to provide, the appropriate space that marries to that technology to be able to conduct business successfully.
The range of workstations here is phenomenal. I mean, you have private sort of almost like cubbyhole type places, and you have big board rooms and even meeting rooms. And first-class furniture. I mean, it looks like a major office furniture store almost, because everything is new and cool and good looking. And then even behind us, my God, we have the cloud, which right now today is red.
Yes.
And that is just a fantastic piece of art and well thought out. Obviously, your customers must love this space.
They do. What they love about the space is, and you talked a lot about the physicality of the space, but there's another element, and that's the service side of it.
Yeah.
So from a physicality point of view, that was, when I talk about what our mission is, intentionally designed, we know that the typical worker today is fluid and is mobile.
Right.
So they don't have to go to their desk, and that's the only place that they work.
Right.
So our members love the fact that they could come in, they can go to a private office, work on that spreadsheet or presentation, 2 hours later go out and collaborate with a colleague about that presentation, go into a meeting space for another hour, present it to their clients, and after the meeting's over, go and sit in a chair that's similar to a business class seat on an international flight, and just relax with a cup of coffee and review their emails for the day and catch up. And then that's the physicality of the space. But really more important to me is the service side of the space. And that is, you're greeted at the front door by a concierge team that knows who you are. We understand your business. We can cater your experience of what you'd like to represent your brand as to the people that walk in the door. You have, amenities like, if you have a dog, we have doggy daycare, the concierge that comes and picks up your dog, and they can give your dog a bath or actually do daycare for it. We have on-site FedEx office for your business needs. We have a dry cleaning service that comes in. You can drop off your dry cleaning and pick it up. So we try to take all the elements of life along with work and just make it easy for you to do what you're here really to do for, and that's to move your business forward.
Well, did I notice this correctly? Do you also have free parking here for the building?
Yeah, that's a real important element. A lot
Seattle, that's a big deal.
It's a challenge. It's not. I'm not sure that we'll be able to offer that in everywhere we go. But our whole model is going to be very transit centric. Okay. So our location is really important to us. We consider ourselves more of a retail brand than a office brand.
Okay.
And when you think about that, if you think of an office and an address, it's like, well, I want a premier address and I want to be on the top floor, right? Here, we want to be on floor 1 or 2.
Okay.
We want access for people, and we want to be able to provide those other services back and forth. And when you're on the first floor and have access, then now buses and trains and parking downstairs are all critical to make it easy for you to get here and work here.
Okay. Well, I know you're still relatively new, but what sort of people have you been attracting? I mean, are there travelers that come to town and use the space? Are they all local people that were working at home and now they're working here?
Well, that's the beautiful part. We are new. So we opened up officially in February.
Okay.
And so we just closed out 6 months. And when you're building a business plan, you have this idea of who your perfect customer is.
Right.
And it's really refreshing to actually be seeing those types of people walk in
Wow.
the door. So of course, yes, being a business traveler,
Right.
nomad myself,
Right.
I certainly see that crowd come through. People will call up, they'll Google us up, and they'll say, "Oh, wow, do you really have a place that I can work for a few hours before I catch a flight?"
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, come on
Yeah,
in."
yeah.
And you can come into our space, and for a small fee, you have access to everything that a full-time member would have.
Right.
But in terms of the demographic, we see everybody from, the house painter that's coming here and bringing their clients in instead of meeting them at a Starbucks or a cafe
Right.
or even at their home kitchen table. They have a neutral spot with beautiful technology to showcase, here's your home today and here's what it could look like after we do it, and their close rates are awesome. We have those types of folks all the way up to regional reps, lawyers, accountants, startups, investment people, and of every age group. And that's really why I wanted to, that was one of our missions, and kind of the why I wanted to do it. I wanted to create a space that was available to everybody and not just that person that's focused in on technology. So when I speak about Atlas, I hate to use the word co-working because to a certain age groups, that's like, okay, it's got a certain thing. It's going to have ping pong and foosball and free-flowing beer.
Right.
And on the opposite side,
Right.
to a lawyer, a professional person, that's the last thing they want
Right.
to be doing is having a meeting where there's people outside playing
Right.
foosball
Right.
and drinking beer, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the kind of the difference. So we're attracting that type of demographic, and they're coming in and
Okay.
enjoying the space.
Okay, so before I let you go, when we were talking about parking, you said, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that in all of our spaces. Tell me what the future looks like. I mean, apparently you have plans for more Atlas Workbases.
Well, the space you're in today is our prototype, and it was our intention to work in this space for at least a year and kind of figure out what this flexible work environment should be. We've been successful enough that we've decided that we're going to go out and build some more.
Okay.
So absolutely, you'll hopefully be seeing Atlas Workbases initially across the West Coast and wherever that takes us.
Okay, Bill, I really appreciate you sharing the story, and I really appreciate you having us here
My pleasure.
as your guest to do these interviews.
Excellent.
You bet.
Thank you.
And that wraps up my discussion with Bill Sector, founder and CEO of Atlas Workbase. And this is Business Makers USA.